Good morning, gang. Happy Friday. So, behind every great man stands a great woman, right? Would anybody disagree with me? Probably on this channel, I doubt it, because the one thing that conservatives believe in is equality, not equity, equality, equal opportunity for everyone, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're biologically male, biologically female, if you are Hispanic, white, black, Asian, whatever, Martian, who cares? All right. The one thing conservatives pretty much to a T believe in is equality. Okay. We all want the same opportunity for ourselves, for our kids that everybody else gets. We don't want the same results, but we want the opportunity to. Okay. How many of you have physically been called to your face in the last 20 years? Islamophobic, transphobic. I mean, pick something phobic. Okay. I want to throw one at you that I guarantee that conservatives have never been called, but every freaking liberal should. Is gynophobic. Do you know what that is? That's the fear of women, and that defines the Democrat Party. You know, we're starting to get into election season for 2024. You know, we're getting more and more people coming out and announcing, the potato in chief said he's going to run again. He's not finished destroying the country. He needs 4 more years to do it. Yeah. Okay. Gynophobic. Very simply put, they're afraid of women. The Democrats, the party platform is a war on women. And if every single Republican, conservative, libertarian politician doesn't make that one of the top 3 things to put in their platform, they're completely idiotic. All right. You go back in time. All right. Title IX. We've heard a lot about Title IX. Okay. I'll just read this to you. Title IX of the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights is a federal civil rights law that prohibits sex-based discrimination in any school or any education program that receives funding from the federal government, which pretty much includes all your public schools and all your public universities. Okay. Private school, that's different. Okay. Public school, sorry. Equality, not equity. A man in a dress, a man in a one-piece Speedo is not a woman. You know that, I know that, and everybody else knows that. Every 4 years when the presidential election comes around, we hear the conservative didn't do well with soccer moms, that women voted more for the liberal candidate than the conservative candidate. If that happens in 2024, my head's going to explode. There was a vote in Congress yesterday, or 2 days ago, to prohibit genetic biological males from competing in women's collegiate sports. It passed the House on a strict party vote. All the Republicans supported it. Every single Democrat opposed it. Chuck Schumer said it's dead on arrival in the Senate, and Biden said if by a miracle it got to his desk, he'd veto it. So every single person in the Democrat Party has said there's a war on women. We don't value women at all. For the women out there, would you rather be called a mother or a birthing person to your children? Okay. Is it going to be Birthing Person's Day later this month, or later next month, actually, because we're not in May yet? No, it's Mother's Day. There is not a single man on the face of the earth ever in history who has been a mother, and there never will be. Okay. You look at the Equal Rights Amendment, okay? This came out in the 60s and 70s, right? Still hasn't passed Congress, okay? I think you have, was it 33 states or whatever that have passed it so far, and they needed 37, and it's already time frame. This is what the Equal Rights Amendment states. And again, I want you to listen to the words carefully. Equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on the account of sex. Nowhere in that does it say equity, and nowhere does it say your gender dysphoria. Okay? It says equality of rights and by any state on the account of sex, your gender, your God-given, God-decided chromosomal gender. XY for men, XX for women. Period. You put on a dress and you got XY chromosomes, you're still a man. Okay? Doesn't make a lick of difference. You take a look at what's gone on lately. You know, pretty much everybody's heard Riley Gaines, okay, the collegiate swimmer, who is screaming and yelling everywhere against Leah Thomas, okay, the guy who is breaking all women's swimming records. Okay, she's absolutely right. You take a look at Liz Wheeler, who's a conservative commentator. She was out giving a speech yesterday at James Madison College in Virginia against transgender athletes and all this sort of crap, competing against women. They got into a protest, which turned out to be a somewhat violent protest. It wasn't the conservatives being violent. It was the liberals being violent. Why is it that violence is okay from the left? Why is it supported by the leftist politicians? Why are we all not trying to put an end to that? I'll give you this one. Maybe you noticed this, maybe you didn't. Minnesota, which has gone completely foobar blue. Okay, I mean, come on, this is a place that keeps re-electing Ilhan Omar. Okay, they have a bill up in the state legislature right now that the state will keep a record of anybody that commits any sort of, I don't even know how to phrase this, says anything that's offensive, okay? Not a hate crime, okay? It doesn't go that far. Nothing that's illegal, all right? The question came up to the woman who is supporting this bill. What if somebody is wearing a I like J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter author, okay, you know, who's made her stance pretty clear on where she feels on men and women's sports, okay? Would that be considered, would the state keep them and their name as opposed to, you know, saying, well, no, you know, that's kind of ridiculous? She refused to answer. There were other questions that were just as ridiculous that she said, yeah, that's offensive. Therefore, they're going on a list. Remember who else about 80 years ago had a list? Okay, you know, got a little mustache, just like that. Yeah, he had a list too. Okay. Of course, I found her posting on Twitter about this, and I reminded her. I said, you do know. I said, that works both ways. I said, you calling me a Islamophobe, a transphobe, a domestic terrorist, a deplorable person. I said, are you going to put your name on that list for using those terms, which you have done? Of course, I didn't get a response, okay? You know, it's the old Harry Reid syndrome, you know, the nuclear option. We're going to do all this, and look what we're going to get to put through. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wait, you started it, and, you know, it works both ways. They don't get it, okay? It's rules for thee and not, or rules for me, or rules for thee and not for me, okay? Again, any conservative speech can be considered offensive. Any liberal speech is considered, hey, you know, we support this. This country doesn't work that way, okay? Or it's not supposed to, at least. There are not two sets of laws in this country. There's not a set of laws for the rich or a set of laws for the poor. though it sure as hell seems like it. Okay. There's not a set of rules for politicians versus normal citizens, though as hell it seems like it. And there's not a separate set of rules for Democrats versus Republicans, though it sure seems like it. This is the thing. To all the women who watch this channel, whether or not you are conservative, whether or not you are liberal, whether or not you fall somewhere in between, I don't care who you vote for, as long as you do not vote for the idiot who is running this country who wants 4 more years to continue destroying it, or any of his minions. Because they are trying their damnedest, in violation of everything that you have fought for, and that a lot of guys have fought for too, to take every one of your rights away and to make you second-class citizens. Remember the term barefoot and pregnant? That's, without saying it yet, that's literally where the liberals want women to be. You don't need to be swimming. You don't need to have sports. You don't need to have a job. You need to be, and they haven't said it yet, but you know somebody's going to let it slip. You need to be barefoot and pregnant at home. Go make me a sandwich. Okay? I know that's extremely offensive, and I'm using it to make a point, because that's exactly what the Democrat Party is telling women. Personally, as a man, biologically, okay, and proud of it, okay, I find it extremely offensive that the liberals cannot figure out that behind every great man is a great woman. I don't know where I'd be without Mrs. P, okay? And I'm not saying because she cooks great or anything like that. I'm saying because she's my partner in life. She's my equal. We have equality in this house. We make decisions together. There are some things she does better than I do. There are some things I do better than she does. Gee, you know what? That's genetics, okay? Doesn't mean there is no such thing as the obvious, what they're trying to force down your throat. You know, women need to be home and cooking and cleaning. No, okay? I'm perfectly capable of cooking a meal. I'm perfectly capable of cleaning a house. I've done it my entire life, okay? Probably every other guy here has done it too. Yeah, there's still a few out there who still can't figure out which side of the bread the mayonnaise goes on for a sandwich. But yeah, I mean, I remember, you guys remember my Army buddy, right? And I remember being out in Utah, this is 10 years ago, and his girlfriend came out. And we were out target practice, 22, you know, off of the back deck. Hell, he owned 140 acres. Okay, it wasn't like there was anybody close. And his girlfriend got out there with the guys, took the 22, and she's like, plink, 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 at every target. Smoked all of us. Marines, Army vets, yeah. And I mean, she was right there. Ting, 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 ting. Yeah. No, she was not a military trained sniper or something like that. She kept up with the guys. It doesn't matter, guys. We, hopefully all of us, believe in equality, equal opportunity, not equity, which is equal outcome. Okay. In an SHTF situation, you're going to need both men and women, because both men and women have different skills, different abilities, and we think differently. And you know what? There's a lot of bad ideas that I've had in my life that have been overturned by a woman who said, Pinball, that's idiotic. That's stupid. Don't do it this way. Do it this way. I bet most of you, if you're honest with yourself, can say the same thing. And it works both ways. All you women out there could also say you've had some idiotic ideas and the guy in your life said, that's idiotic. Let's do it this way. Okay. That's called equality. That's called a partner. That's called working together. That's not division. That's not this, like I said before, barefoot and pregnant mentality that liberals have. If you want to be treated like an equal, there's no way in the world you could possibly put a check mark next to anybody who's got a D next to their name. Think about that. Tell that, explain that to the 16-year-old purple-haired cashier at the grocery store the next time she's going, well, I've got to work. And yeah. Guess what? A lot of women work. It sucks. They have to. But that's because of a couple of generations in both parties of politicians who've screwed us over. But if you want to break it down to brass tacks, which party hates women? They'll do all the virtue signaling they can. Well, look, we have the first woman vice president. You nominated the first hot dog, okay? I mean, this is about it. She's got the brains of a Chicago-style hot dog, all sorts of crap on top of it, and it stinks. But yippee. Find somebody that's qualified and then talk to me. Unfortunately, just like all the men out there aren't qualified, all the women out there aren't qualified. But I will guarantee you one thing. If there's a D next to their name, they are not qualified to make any decision whatsoever in your life. Pinball out.